Carbon monoxide has no smell or color, and it can creep into your home undetected. Here to talk more about carbon monoxide poisoning awareness is Dr. Lindell Weaver of the Intermountain Medical Center's Hyperbaric Medicine Department. Dr. Weaver, thanks for being here.
Sure, Rick.
We were talking about this. We always seem to be reporting these tragedies involving carbon monoxide poisoning. How big of a problem is it?
Well, it's a big problem. I mean, we think there's over 50,000 emergency department visits per year in the United States. And of course, climates that have cold weather, like Utah, much of the year, is much higher than states to the south of us that are warmer. So it's a real problem. I mean, for example, last year, year before, I think I personally treated 30, 40 people per year. And that's only a small portion, really, of probably all of those poisoned across Utah.
And I guess the weather factors in, because with our colder weather, it's starting to get a little cooler at nights now. People go to alternate ways to heat their homes. And how does that factor in?
Well, sure. So as the temperature drops, we're all going to turn on heating sources. But even furnaces, you know, can have a problem. So maybe it worked fine last year, but perhaps a bird built a nest in the flue, or the metal broke inside the heat exchange unit. So really, it's sound advice to have the heating system inspected by a qualified individual every year, and to have another layer of protection strategy, which, as you can see, I brought in a carbon monoxide alarm. You know, these are sold at hardware stores and all over the place, Walmart, Costco.
Not that expensive.
No, not at all. I mean, I think this one may have been $40 or $50. It's self-contained, has a battery, supposedly will last 10 years. I advise people replace them really every 5 to 6. Don't trust 10 years. That may be a little excessive. This alarm is much more expensive. I travel with this one. You can get these type of alarms online, but it's very good in low-level situations, and it has a little on-off switch, so you can turn it on and off for, like, flying in an aircraft, things like that.
You mentioned furnaces, but tell me, what are sources? Where does carbon monoxide come from, and what makes it so dangerous?
Sure. Well, carbon monoxide comes from anything that produces, that burns fuel, carbon fuel. So furnaces, car exhaust, boat exhaust. You know, just last week, we heard about a patient at Park City who was cutting concrete. So he rented a concrete saw, was cutting concrete in his basement. He had a respirator on, but respirators do not protect against carbon monoxide. They protect against dust and debris. And he was poisoned. And we see this thing. I mean, a friend of mine, a colleague in St. George, a few months ago, actually, a fellow rented a concrete cutting saw, and that resulted in death. So small motors, be they wood chippers, concrete cutting saws, generators, any of that stuff, if you run it indoors, produces a lot of CO, and it's a source of serious danger.
How can people get more information on carbon monoxide poisoning and what they need to do to stay safe?
There's several ways. Actually, if you go to the CDC, which is a federal site, it's the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and Google in carbon monoxide, there's actually all sorts of information about carbon monoxide on their website, and that's a solid source.
Dr. Lindell Weaver of Intermountain Medical Center, thank you for being here today. We appreciate the information.
You're welcome, and again, the big deal is prevention of carbon monoxide to prevent hardship and tragedy.
All right, get one of those alarms. Thank you very much.